district administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on another terrific Thursday's edition. I got a chance to focus on education and we invite you to be a part of our discussion. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome, and thanks very much. When we look at our students, we see that the future is indeed not just full of promise and potential, but it's going to be actually productive. So good friends over at KPMG, every year you bring together some fantastic students, not just for fun and academics, but to remind us of how, together we can make something really positive. So thanks again, I look forward to this, one of the regular features on the calendar. It's amazing. So how are you?
Doing great. Excited to be here.
Isn't it for a Thursday? So early in the month? It's just exciting.
Most definitely.
All right, well, we'd ask you prior to the break, and thank you so much for being so amenable as you introduce yourselves, and then maybe through you or our students, but we'll get into their discussion. I miss your colleagues, but it's good to have you.
Yes. So my name is Deanne Blackman, and I'm the manager for local talent development and corporate citizenship at KPMG. We are ecstatic to have hosted our 10th annual KPMG Brain Bowl academic tournament yesterday at the Kimpton Seafire Resort and Spa, where we got to welcome 13 high schools from across the island. So with us today, we have the winning team from Cayman Prep in high school, who won by 2 points against St. Ignatius, who plays second, and Triple C School, who plays third.
And when we look at the various schools and students participating, and we'll get a chance to maybe share with, in particular, parents. This can be fun as they learn and they go home and they have their other classwork that for them counts towards their grades. They still put a lot of time through the school year in preparing. But Mr. Yan, from time, we were discussing earlier, the idea, you manage your people and talent development. That whole role has changed in terms of the corporate governance approach to recruiting, training, and this is part of talent development.
It is. So in my role, I oversee our graduates and students program, and it's a collective approach, not just recruiting or not just focusing on the academics, but events like Brain Bowl provide the opportunity for young people to develop their collaboration skills, their communication skills, their people skills, and all in all, those skills collectively, help them to be, great future contributing citizens of the country.
Who knows, the future managing partner may come out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not just about being able to, back in the day it was a slide rule, but now the spreadsheets and all sorts of things. You want the team members to be able to collaborate, not just look at the numbers and make interpretations. And this is why I think, having seen some of the questions or even sat in the audience in the back, they're asking about football. What does that have to do with anything? But it's the skill sets.
Yes, and when we're preparing the questions for Brain Bowl, there are subject-based questions, so your math, your science, your English, but we also incorporate local current events questions, historical questions around the Cayman Islands, as well as, the sports questions and, current events from around the world as well. So it's definitely a well-rounded tournament as it relates to the questions and, try to keep the students on their toes each year.
Well, we'll find out they felt like they were on their toes or otherwise preparing. But for those who don't know, I mean, the Brain Bowl isn't just something that you do within the Cayman marketplace or in this region. This is something you stumbled upon a while back, and it's very instrumental in within the KPMG sort of nurturing.
Yes, so some of our offices do host similar type tournaments for their respective jurisdictions. So we locally have adopted the KPMG Brain Bowl modules, so to speak, that we roll out each year and have hosted. When we first started, we started with 8 schools. So we have definitely grown over the years, to welcoming 13 schools this year. And, we strive to enhance it year on year and adding new elements each year. So yeah. All
right. Well, before we ask you to introduce our students or maybe set the stage and through you have them introduce themselves, the ages, we're talking about 17 schools and, we've doubled from the initial inception. So it shows that it's a take up by the schools, but the students themselves. Yes. What's the ages from like 14 to 47?
So it's high school age. So we recognize the fact that, we do have various schooling systems on island. And so, year 8 student might be a different age, so to speak, to one school to the next. So we kind of give a guide to the high schools to say, from year 8 to year 13, so long they are a student that is enrolled in high school, they're welcome to participate in the tournament.
Well, this is it. I'm glad that they do. I mean, this has gone from the general knowledge quizzes that we had way back when to almost all encompassing and, some things that were historical to things that have just been happening in the news today.
Yes.
All right. Well, through you want to have the students introduce themselves? Should we go left to right, right to left?
Let's go right to left. The students should introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Jacob Kelly Johnson.
It's a pleasure. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Scarlett Akiwumi.
Welcome back, son.
Hi, I'm Charles Player.
I'm not going to go there. Well, we'll come back to that.
Good morning. My name is Nalani Swan.
Good afternoon. My name is Alec Benjamin Bennett.
In looking at students over the years, it's not only their participation, but their teachers. And to a great extent, that sort of involvement before school, lunchtimes, and the expectation that they will also put in the time. So, Scarlett, from that perspective, it's not your first rodeo as they were. What made you want to do it, not just the first time, but repeatedly?
Well, when I went last year for the first time, I found it extremely fun. Even going to the preparation times during lunch times was extremely exciting. I enjoy answering general knowledge questions and all types of questions. So I knew this year, especially after winning last year, I definitely wanted to continue and see what would happen this time.
Do you think the win itself last year propelled you to want to be to defend the title, or was it that if you hadn't even won, just the participation alone?
Definitely just the participation. Well, not necessarily alone. The win obviously did aid in my desire to defend our title, but once again, I just love answering these fun questions, so I want to do it again.
Awesome. Mr. Lanley, if I might. What did you find most sort of exciting about participating in the whole tournament? The day itself, but even, the weeks and months leading up to it.
I'd say it has you on your toes all the time. From the first question to the last question, you're always thinking and you're a bit nervous and you're like, I need to get this question right. Am I going to get it wrong? Am I going to take the risk and interrupt? And it's just the feeling of getting the question correct. That's worth the tension and the nervousness.
Is it the sense of I'll use the word deliberate, the pressure from, your teammates to get this right, or is it the pressure that you put on yourself? I know this. I should know this. Why don't I know this? I know everything. I'm a young person.
I would definitely say it's kind of both. You want to get the win for your teammates and yourself, and it's also whenever a question passes and you get it wrong and the judge says the correct answer, and like, I kind of knew it, but at the back of your head, you know you never knew it at all.
Hey, you know what? Confidence.
Exactly.
Jacob, to you, sometimes we see that having our peers watching us, we know they're expecting something great from us. We know they're sort of relying on us, but is that pressure of them watching, they're right there, you can feel them breathing. Does that make you more inclined to want to get it right, as the landing says, or?
I would say that, yes, it would incline you to get it correct. But I also feel that you're sort of there to win together. So, yeah. You work together to get that win.
That's it. And that's where I think, the success is the collective win. Just being in a player doesn't work. I mean, you got to be for you, the preparation, does it go beyond the crib sheet? Does it go beyond the ordinary things that you know and the sessions as a team?
Well, yeah, I think it does definitely go kind of like beyond what we were doing as a group. Because like there was definitely a lot of like, I mean, I already keep up with the news already, but then just knowing that I was going to be up there, it kind of made me pay even closer attention to current events and things that were going on. So,
were there particular things both in the preparation, but even the questions that surprised you? Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. Was that really what the answers? I always thought it was this. Are there particular things that jumped out at you?
Yeah, mainly, a lot of like the sports questions too, where like I did not know a lot of them, or a lot about the rock questions. There are a lot of those. I'm realizing that
this is the Rock Johnson questions,
like the rock music questions.
Yeah,
yeah, very.
No, and that's the interesting thing. Just looking through the various questions, they cover the gamut, and you wonder, well, why would we put that in? Now, all is well. All right. Share with us from the wisdom beyond those years. Tell us, man. How did you find it? How would you say to your other classmates, start now in relation to preparing for next year? Not just to defend the title, but to be one of the team members.
Well, I think that, well, because of how all-encompassing the questions are, you may underestimate how many of the questions you may actually be able to answer, because if you actually pay attention in class, then you're going to know some of the answers. But I think actually paying attention to the news is also important, because they do ask questions that require some amount of knowledge of current events, and history is definitely a part of they do ask history questions as well. So it's not the more, I would say, the more well-known history facts. If you can just try to learn those, then you would put yourself at an advantage. And the math questions, that will definitely require practice. And if you start practicing from now, then you should be able to do the questions in the amount of time necessary.
But a perfect segue, as we asked Ms. Gibson, you have the curriculum that you teach into. There's at some point an examination, more than just a school. Us as parents, that's what we send our children for, right?
Yeah.
How do you weave this into, the ordinary school day and the knowledge that they're acquiring, the teaching, the extra things to make it be a part of what you're doing?
I mean, we obviously have to follow and teach a curriculum, but as teachers, we're trying to also embed Cayman within our curriculum. And we have Cayman Cultural Week next week, so there were lots of questions about the Cayman Islands, so hopefully just weaving that into the curriculum really makes a massive difference to the students. I teach geography, we do some maths in geography as well. We have Miss Crean who teaches languages, so there are ways as a teacher to weave in other elements of different subjects to try and give the students an all-rounded curriculum. And we met them lunchtime after school, we did practice, we told them to read the news. So, hopefully they did. Well, they did because they won. So, yeah, just embedding it as part of the curriculum, but also giving them opportunities elsewhere as well.
All right, well, when we come back from the break, I'm excited to hear if you would perhaps share with us any particular question that, that was a new one. Maybe Jacob will have a story. Who knows? All right, join us. Stay tuned.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Get ready for more with Digicel's all-new prepaid plans. More any-use data to browse. Entertainment data for Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Plus, stay connected with endless social data for Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With Digicel's new prepaid plans, you'll never miss a beat. Activate in the My Digicel app today. Digicel. Better connected.
Cybercrime happens online or through the technology we use every day. Anyone can be a victim of cybercrime, whether you are a young person being bullied or harassed online, or an older person or business who's been scammed out of money or personal data. Cybercrime is an issue that touches all of us. The Cayman Islands government has therefore created an online resource to help keep you cyber safe in an ever-changing world.
In online situations, it is better to be cyber safe than sorry. Learn now to protect yourself against cybercrime. Visit gov.ky/cybersafe.
Today, October 5th through the 14th, celebrate the launch of the new Hurley's Max loyalty program. Save more with Hurley's Max. Join the club, save a lot with 3 million Hurley's Max points. Available for shoppers. 200 spot prizes from Tortuga, kid competitions, and 5 exclusive member contests. On the app, along with over 650 products are on promotion. Celebrate the launch of Max, October 5th today through the 14th.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
Attention Cayman Brac residents, your voices have been heard. We are thrilled to announce that Cayman National will be installing a new ATM in the Kirkconnell store in Stake Bay on September 1st. At Cayman National, our priority is to make banking easy and convenient.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us, and thanks to our good friends over at KPMG for not just sponsoring, for a decade now, our annual Green Bowl, for getting the students motivated and encouraged. And that promise of, all expense trip to Cayman Brac for everybody. Thank you all for doing that. She's like, no, I don't think so. That must be the other accounting firm. No, but Miss Deanna, as we continue this next segment, we can joke and jest, but we see the seriousness and we can see the camaraderie, but there's also an element of competition. Yes. I mean, the students, they want to represent them schools, and each school wants to say, well, we can emerge with the bragging rights, as it were.
Yes, and you definitely see that throughout the day when the contestants are at their respective contestant tables, and it gets very tense during the rounds. And being in the audience, we're also trying to guess along to some of the questions, and then we're also rooting on the students at the competing in the rounds. It's like, hope you get this one, hope you get that one. But there is that sense of competition, that energy in the room, but it's still a very collective sportsmanship energy as well, where, you know, after each round, you'll see some of the teams, you know, like cheering on each other throughout the day. So we're, you know, very delighted to see that sportsmanship.
If it's okay, for those who haven't attended or haven't had any of their own students as teachers or, you know, as parents, their children, what is it like? We got an idea of maybe what quizzes are like, but, you know, they start at 7 in the morning. There's a very rigorous exercise routine. No.
Well, registration does start at 7:45 in the morning. And that's to provide the opportunity for, you know, all the teams and their participants to have the time to get to the venue. And then we kick off everything with an opening video, welcome address, you know, an establishing protocol as well for any dignitaries that, you know, we're greatly appreciative that they do take their time out to join us. And then we dive straight into the rounds. But the one key element at the beginning is that we do a random draw of the teams, so no one knows prior to the day what the order will be. So everyone that's there, we have the nice big glass bowl, and they see their names getting, their team names getting picked from the bowl to display on the tournament board. So as you follow throughout the day, you'll be able to see who's competing against who.
Yeah. And that sort of objectivity, you want to make sure that it's as impartial as possible. This team against that team, random draw.
Yes.
It helps to sort of speak to what the world is like in terms of competition.
Yes.
All right. Well, before we ask our students maybe some stories that might come out of it. Right, Jake? Yeah. So think about, well, let's go back to our educators, because you know, we don't always appreciate the amount of time and effort and all the other things. And as your colleague shared, this is more than just bragging rights or a competition. You want the children to understand that learning is continual and it can actually be enjoyable, but you have to put work into it. So, welcome, Brief Control. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, no, it's something that I only moved to the school. I only moved to Cayman Prep last year, and I had never heard of brain ball coming from the UK. I really didn't know much about it, but this year Miss Gibson asked me if I would get involved with it, and I jumped at the chance. I thought it's a really good thing. I'd seen the children do it last year. I knew that they'd won, and I thought, you know, we'll give it a go. And honestly, genuinely, the amount of work they put in, and I think it's a two-sided coin. You know, we were willing to put in the work if they were willing to give it back, and they came back with it tenfold. You know, and they led themselves to victory, and that was such a proud moment for me. I felt so proud yesterday. I still do. And so going into school with the trophy this morning, which you can see on there, sorry, the KPMG trophy, 10th anniversary trophy, is lovely. You know, I felt a massive sense of pride, and so that extra work I really did not mind. I wanted to give up my time for these children to do the questions. Like last week, for example, we had a practice after school, didn't we? And I said, we'll do 5 more questions. And then about 15 questions later, they were like, Miss, are we going to finish? And I'm like, just 5 more. And they were up for it because they were just willing to work as hard as they could to get where they wanted to be. And you did. So congratulations to you all. I'm so, so happy for you.
And thanks for sharing that, because as you said, you know, what you put into it, you get back. As teachers, you're putting in a lot of effort, but then the students are sort of reciprocating. The more they put in, the more you want to put in, and 5 becomes 50.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And you know, to say they're doing their A-levels at the moment, they've got so many other responsibilities, and they're willing to put time aside to do this, to do the rehearsals, to train, watching the news, etc., etc., etc. It's just a great thing to see how their dedication and their willingness to work hard and to pull it off, basically.
Right. Oh, Jacob, no, we gave you time, man. What do you want to share with us before we ask other stuff?
I would say, like, it was when we got eliminated the first round we lost. I was like, oh, are we like out now? I was a bit confused. I was like, okay, but then I was even more confused when we got pulled back up. I was like, right then, I guess another chance. But it was really funny because St. Ignatius, the same ones who beat us, is the ones who we beat. And it was funny because they came over to us and were like, oh, good game, but like sly, but
a little salty.
So yeah, so then it was really funny when we actually won against them twice. So.
Was it revenge is best win twice? But that just shows you, I mean, if you, the first round, the second round, it's like life. If you quit, but you never know what the reward may be. we all voted since she's the seasoned veteran and the much more wiser counsel. Let's, Scarlett, from you, well, actually, you got a reprieve. We have a call. Let's see if we can field our callers. Is Deanna's okay with you? All right, let's see how we can do it. Headsets, everybody. My hair is in place. All right.
Oh.
We can make it work out. We're talking about the 10th, annual KPMG Brain Bowl. We have this wonderful students from
What do you want to?
Prep. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Okay, well, that was anticlimactic. That was my first date. That's kidding. No, that was yesterday. Maybe it's just something connection. But this is where I think we can laugh at life and we can enjoy it. Before I ask Mr. Nani, I wanted to go back to you, Ms. Scarlett, from the idea that you were preparing for life through school. And sometimes, age 8, life is about bouncing. At 18, when we're just on the last exam, and then, the world opens up. What do you say to your younger cohorts there? I mean, in terms of expectations, life beyond Brain Bowl and the teams and the like?
Well, the other Jacob and Nilani are also both in the same boat as I am, but Alec and Charles, they are the year below me, and all I could really say is just keep on top of things and don't procrastinate, because that will it will haunt you, and it won't be the best thing to do, but that's really all I can say, and work hard.
No, I appreciate it, and that's why I was going to, from you to Nilani, whether we're thinking that we know exactly, I'm going to be done your research and I'm going to be, life may be exactly as you plan it.
Yeah.
Yep. For you, it will be. With that, though, how do you find? Because sometimes as parents, in particular, we see these things as fun. Yeah, you get a trophy. Yeah, you get a couple of hours at the school. Why do you need to know that? But there's more. And I think I referenced it earlier. You participated, Ms. Diane talked about looking at a potential scholarship recipient, not just how good your academics are. Those are important. How do you interact with everybody else? How do you bring something else to the table?
Yeah, I definitely think that one of the best parts of participating in training for the Brain Bowl is you can have like small bits of niche information about literally anything, and you never know, you'll be talking with a new person in life, probably at university or just at an after-school club, and they might bring up something to do with like hockey, and Charles got the hockey question right, and he can just like bring that up randomly, like, I know this from a thing I participated back in high school. So that's what I really enjoy about Brain Bowl. Like when I'm just discussing with my parents, I probably talked to them yesterday about like for an hour about everything that happened in Brain Bowl, and I was just talking to them about stuff I learned, and I was like telling my brother so he can probably like use it sometime in life and just bring out randomly. So that's what I really enjoy about it.
You know what I heard? She talked to her parents. That's nice. Thank you. How do we get that to happen? No, but you are right, and it is not just a classroom setting. Charles, from that idea, you still got a few more sessions in school before you taste the world.
Yeah.
What about next year?
Next year?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be going into year 13 and doing my A2s, so that's stressful.
No, man, no. Only if you make it. You have great teachers, and it's just work.
No, that's true. Yeah, no, the teachers in prep are really are great. Yeah.
Right. If I might, though, as we go into the break, Ms. Diana, the idea that this participation, I mean, it's not just the winning team or the second place to the third place. All the other teams, I think, from what Jacob shared, there might be another team here celebrating the victory.
Yes, and each year, we ensure to develop the questions year on year. And so it's definitely an element of surprise for all of the student participants who are participating in the tournament. And this year, with it being our anniversary, we did incorporate a few new prizes as well. So we had our Team Sportsmanship Award that went to John Gray High School, but then we also introduced an MVP award, so Most Valuable Male and Female Student Individual Award, which went to student from Lehman Scott, as well as, forgive me, Oh yes, Clifton Hunter High School. And in celebration of the anniversary, we also had a little mini quiz challenge to see, what the students knew about KPMG and KPMG Brain Bowl. So, student from CF school won that individual award as well.
And this is where we're putting that more and more into our community as well. As we come back from a break, we invite our students to share anything in particular they want, not just about the Brain Bowl, about life, what they've sort of taken from it, what they hope to maybe impart to the next year's cohort. That'll be fine. All right, join us right after the break.
Ready for more fun, more data, and endless connections? Digicel's all-new postpaid plans got you covered. Get more entertainment data for Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Endless social data for WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. And more international minutes than ever before. Stay connected on the fastest, most reliable network in Cayman. Make the switch today. Digicel. Better connected.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat. And Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
Attention Cayman Brac residents. Your voices have been heard. We are thrilled to announce that Cayman National will be installing a new ATM in the Kirkconnell store in Stake Bay on September 1st. At Cayman National, our priority is to make banking easy and convenient.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. And always a pleasure to be able to sit with our students and not just celebrate with them, but hopefully they'll see the pride that they bring us and that not just the joy in learning, but how the life looks so much better when we can look at these faces and understand that they see life even better. So to you and the team over at KPMG, Ms. Diane, thank you very much. And 10 years consistently, having double the amount of participants this time around.
Yes, seeing from the 8 schools in the very first year to now 13 schools this year. So definitely history was made. I do want to take the time, though, to thank especially all the coaches, the teachers, the principals who, without them, the tournament would not be possible. Today is World Teachers Day, and so as part of that, we wanted to recognize all of our coaches that were in attendance yesterday and awarding them the Blue Diamond Coach Award in recognition for their commitment in leading, guiding, and educating our youth.
And that's where I think, as students, whether we are just on the cusp of graduating from high school, whether we're looking at postgraduate studies, or whether we're that retiree who wants to go back and say, you know what, something else I wanted. Jake, let's start with you first. As you look at what lies ahead, only if you wish, do you know where you want to be in 10 years? Do you know what career path you want to pursue, for your undergrad, for instance?
Not exactly, no.
And that's why, as your parents might say, hey, come on, guy, I'm paying you for this. But once you have a receptive, open approach to learning, you may start out as an engineer and end up as, an educator. Life only gets better. Oh, Ms. Ackerman, what about you? Where do you see your life taking you in your path? 1 year from now and 20 years?
Currently I'm planning to study natural science or biology in the UK. And after that, I've absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. So hopefully, along the way, it'll just come.
It will, There's a talk show host opening up. You can have it. Mr. Charles, what about you?
So I plan to go to study in college in the UK. Hopefully doing like some economics and business management, possibly. Maybe even working with KPMG. And then, but like I really just hope to kind of, once I do that, just travel around a lot and get lots of experience going to different places. Because while I love living in Cayman and it's great, I just feel very almost limited sometimes and things.
Only if you wish to share any particular places of interest that you would want to see.
Well, my main plan right now is to just go along the U.S. and just go to the different coasts and travel around there. I haven't thought about it too much. Honestly, I'm just kind of planning to see where life takes me,
Spirit.
Sorry, is that cheesy?
You say you're studying economics, right? Not No, man, no. Life is about to be embraced and stuff. And but it's not just fun and games. At some point, we have to, parental expectations, our own ambitions and aspirations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
She's like, come on, guy, get focused. All right. Can we try to call it? Okay, you know what? Persistence pays off. It's kind of like my, constant. Let's try it. Let's see if we can share. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, hello? Yeah, hello? Okay. I really appreciate that caller's, persistence and trying and do apologize. Sometimes, but this is sort of like, like where life takes us sometimes. We expect certain things to be the way they are because we've engineered it, we've manufactured it. What I mean, I paid for it, I have the warranty. And it isn't. In preparing for the Brain Bowl and in preparing for, an upcoming end-of-year exam, any major differences from your perspective, or is just preparation is key to success?
Well, I think most of my preparation for Brain Bowl has been going on for basically all throughout my life. For example, preparation to answer the Bible questions. I've been a Seventh-day Adventist all my life, so I remember I used to every week, I believe every Saturday, I used to watch Bible stories to keep myself occupied because I wasn't allowed to watch anything secular on that day because it was.
But then there is sometimes an application or something that you got to translate it into. Well, what is it they say in economics? Monetize it in a sense, not just a paycheck, but does it give you currency? How do you make that at 18 when age 40 is like a long time down the road? I'm almost there.
I would say honestly just take it day by day. It's obviously great to have like a 5 and a 10-year plan and have a dream and everything, but you'll get to a point where you keep thinking about the future and you're not living in the present day. And so I definitely think that if today I'm having a discussion with Scarlett or Jacob in a free period or something and we're just discussing anything on current affairs in Cayman and something random comes up and you're like, oh, we did this in Brain Bowl. It's like, it's definitely something that you can enjoy for the day. And then the next day you might bring something new. And then 2 months from now, you might bring up another question. Like, oh, I know that. Yeah.
Miss Gibson, then, if I might ask, and this speaks to my mind more about, life and learning. And it's not just the expectations sometimes the parents have of you, but as our students have shared, this isn't just one activity, for bragging rights. This is something that is going to take them through life.
It definitely will. I mean, the whole experience yesterday was incredibly fun. Thank you to KPMG for providing us all with the opportunity, and I'm sure I speak for the other schools as well, just to say thank you. So what they learnt yesterday will take them through. It was an incredibly fun day, but we learnt a lot. There were lots of questions that we could answer, but there was also questions that we'd learnt from as well. They got to communicate and network with other students from different schools. They got to talk to KPMG members of staff as well and forge those networks. So it's not just about, yay, Prep 1, but yay, we did, again. And we're so proud of them, but we're proud of all of the students that participated. I'm not sure I could have got up there when I was their age and had done the same. So thank you to KPMG for providing the students with those lifelong skills as well.
And thanks for sharing that, because two very salient things struck. One, we expect our teachers to know everything all the time. And it's, only dads know that, okay? And then secondly, the idea that at their age, we probably, as confident as we were, and as we probably sometimes have some reservations, and to see them stepping up, it just shows you that we've come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, even as adults, there's things that we're always nervous about. We try to take ourselves out of our comfort zones. So it's really nice to support the students in trying to do that as well. We're really proud of them. They've done amazing.
Indeed, and as we perhaps, before we ask, Ms. Deanna, for closing thoughts, perhaps each of the students, if you all want to, I'd like to maybe start with you first, Ms. Swan, and then we'll go around. Any quick sort of final thoughts you may want to share with your teammates or with anyone?
Well, I think, if you are, I think my final thoughts would be that, as much as, as a teenager, you may not necessarily have to be, you may think of Brain Bowl as something for only people who have no lives or who have free time or stuff like that. But in my mind, if you have an opportunity to not only learn more useful things, but also to help with networking, so you never know which person that saw you at Brain Bowl may be the same person that scholarship later. So if you have the opportunity to do that, then why not do it? I mean, how life is, you have, there will be a time eventually where you have to sit to realize that it's not about funny games anymore. You have to actually do something that you may not like for the purpose of, making an impact and actually making a living. So might as well start that from early, so it'll be easier. So that'll be easier when you're later in life.
This one, your words of wisdom to your listeners.
Brain Bowl was some really great academic fun. I remember Scarlett was trying to get me to join last year, but I never gave in. But this year I did give in, and I joined, and I was smiling for 24 hours yesterday. I would say if Brain Bowl is offered at your school, definitely join it. I'm right now trying to get my younger brother to start preparing from now and join it when he gets a bit older at his school right now. And yeah, I would say it was a really great experience, something I'll definitely remember. I remember it clear as day from right now. I'll probably remember it 5 years from now, and I'll stay clearly tell whoever, all my friends, what happened, the historic moment.
Oh man. And congrats.
Thank you.
Charles, if you wish.
Well, I mean, bouncing off what she said, is that Brain Bowl was so much fun, and everything was really enjoyable. Even just the meetings that we did in school practicing were a lot of fun. So I just want to say thank you to KPMG, and thank you to Miss Gibson and Miss Crean for giving us this opportunity. It was honestly just so much fun, and I really enjoyed it.
Thanks. Scarlett?
Yeah, I just want to say how much I love as this is my second time doing it, because I just loved it so much the first time. Echoing what that Lani just said. Just if you have brain bowl offered at your school, then I would totally take it. And also, I will always think of otters from now on as weasels with lead.
The things you remember.
I would like to extend a thank you to all the teachers because happy National Appreciation Day. Teacher Appreciation Day, because you guys led us to victory. Thank you to KPMG. And also, the prize wasn't just the switches. It was also like communicating with each other, building connections, and having a fun experience overall.
And that's, I think, as you always shared, and that's what you take with you. Ms. Diane, closing thoughts, Mom.
So I want to first again thank you to all students, to all the teachers, the coaches, and then a special thank you to Honorable Wayne Panton and Honorable Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, as well as Honorable Franz Manderson, who were also in attendance, in addition to our Ministry of Education officials and our Department of Education Services officers who were there as well to celebrate the students and join in for the final rounds and join in some of the group photos and to join in them for lunch as well to network with them and meet with them. And then, of course, we couldn't do it without our KPMG volunteers as well, who were assisting throughout the day.
We're looking forward to welcoming you back next year, and maybe some schools will have within the school a competition to send their selected team.
Yes.
So thanks again, and to each of you, congratulations. I'm glad you enjoyed yourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna pause, and when we come back, we invite you. Our friends from CEC will be our guests. Stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Police will conduct a witness appeal on the 1-week anniversary of last week Friday's murder in and around the scene of the crime at approximately the time of the offense, 10 a.m. on Friday, October 6th, in an attempt to locate witnesses who may be passing through the area. If anyone has any information about the murder, contact the Major Incident Room on 649-2930, not through social media channels where it can be misinterpreted and misrepresented. Police would also request that witnesses make themselves known to police so that appropriate measures can be put in place to ensure their safety. In international news, a crossbow-wielding man who arrived at Windsor Castle with plans to assassinate the Queen has been jailed for 9 years for treason. The 21-year-old man was arrested while the late monarch stayed in the castle on Christmas Day 2021. He was spurred on by his artificial intelligence chatbot girlfriend and inspired by storylines from Star Wars. He will be subject to a hybrid order under the Mental Health Act. This means he will remain in a psychiatric hospital for now, but will be transferred to custody when he receives the treatment he needs. U.S. President Joe Biden's administration is to build a section of border wall in southern Texas in an effort to stop rising levels of immigration. About 20 miles will be built in Starr County along its border with Mexico, where officials report high numbers of crossings. Building a border wall was a signature policy of Donald Trump as president and fiercely opposed by Democrats. In 2020, Mr. Biden promised he would not build another foot of wall if elected. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
I am Teresa Pitcairn, the chairperson of the Cayman Islands Beautification Task Force. Derelict vehicles are not only unsightly, they also lower the quality of life in our neighborhoods and pose serious public health and safety risk. To report a derelict vehicle, please call the Department of Environmental Health on 949-6696.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott enjoyed a fulfilling career at sea spanning more than 50 years. He was ahead of his time, employing his mathematical and computer skills to create payroll software, depth charts of Georgetown Harbor, and his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. He had 6 children and was married for 52 years to Bernadette Silva, whom he met during his tenure in Brazil. In 1954, when Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited, Captain Scott had the distinct honour shaking the Queen's hand and piloting the Royal Yacht Britannia and anchored it in the Georgetown Harbour. Captain Scott was a humble man who liked his khaki suit and cap and loved to share his knowledge with those who crossed his path. He was honoured at the National Heroes Day, acknowledging the seafaring heritage of these islands.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome and thank you very much for joining us. And in the studio, the excellent company of Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, the CEO of Cayman Enterprise City. Always a pleasure to not just have a chat with you, but to be through you, excited about the great things that are going to be happening, both for the Cayman economy, but, potential employees of the CEC and many of our students whose academic interests now position them to be able to, be an active contributor to our community without having to leave our shores. I keep saying that. As a parent, man, it'd be good to know that your child's interests and career aptitude can still be harnessed at home. So how are you, man?
Yeah, good, busy, but really good, and always happy to be back in the studio with you.
Thank you always for accepting the invitation, for sharing with us. And when we look, and I hope she doesn't mind, I don't name drop, but I'm always intrigued by strong intellect. Miss Marla Dukran, her reports, the opportunity to interview her, and I watch her sort of academic reports of the Caribbean region in particular. And when I do a comparative to where the larger jurisdictions like, say, Bahamas, for instance, and look at Cayman, you still see a very strong, dynamic economy that we have here. And I think CUC plays quite well into that.
Yeah, well, we like to think that we're a contributor. Yeah.
So tell us, what are some of the good things that are happening? What are some of the things that you have on offer? What are the expectations that we have to look forward to, man?
Well, since the last time we were here, a number of things have happened, but the most significant ones are that the second cohort of our Launch Labs incubator has kicked off. We have 9 projects in the incubator. That's the 3-month program that is designed to take projects from the idea validation stage. That's the stage where they begin. They've validated their idea, and take them through to the investment ready stage.
Yeah, that's key. That's significant. I mean, an idea is one thing, but to be able to have it come to fruition, or at least be nurtured along the path, gives you greater probability of success?
Well, when we started this whole thing, not to get too far into that, but we found that kind of helping projects up to a certain point wasn't very useful. That we needed to provide an opportunity for them to continue to develop their projects, because just kind of taking someone to the idea validation stage is almost cruel, if you will, because it's like, okay, I've got a great idea. I've validated there's a problem. I've validated that my solution is an actual solution to the problem. And then now what but where do I go from here?
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind the incubator, was to take that a step further, and then to kind of segue into some other things that are new with us, and the reason why we're here today. We found that an important component that was missing was seed and pre-seed investment capital. So we are in the process of launching what will be known as the Cayman Islands Investment Angel Society. And as a first initiative of that society, we have worked with a company called Clockwork. They've put it together. We've commissioned it, the program, but it's a private investment mechanics course, and that will kick off on Wednesday, the 18th of October.
Okay, and then let's go for roughly how long are we expecting it to last initially?
There's 6 components to the program. And I'll let Cory explain what those are and how they all fit together.
Okay.
But it begins in the 18th of October, and it's designed to dovetail with the incubator's pitch night, which is on the 5th of December. So we actually have 2 tracks. We have the projects going through a training, an incubator, and we have private investors, individuals, going through a training programs that's designed to help them both meet up at the end, and hopefully find some matches.
All right. Well, as you shared, we have Cory Shea join us by the telephone. Maybe as we speak to him, we can learn more. Hey, welcome. Hey, thanks for being a part of the discussion.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. How are you today?
Right.
Yeah. Life is well.
Doing great. How are you?
Excellent. And thanks for joining us. And as Charlie was just sharing the idea that we have this private investment mechanics, sometimes just getting people to be able to help us to understand where we are isn't always as easy as some would expect. Take us through it. I mean, not just only the impetus, for this particular initiative, but how is it going to work? How is it going to benefit people? Tell us about it.
Sure. Yeah, so Charlie came to us with the general idea of wanting to put a program like this together, and certainly it seems like it's warranted, and we appreciate the efforts that the Cayman Enterprise City Group are taking. As he mentioned, there's typically a lack of capital in private markets generally to support entrepreneurs, particularly in the early stages. And so while I think a lot of groups are focused on helping entrepreneurs and startups build their businesses, market their businesses, this program is intended to take the opposite approach and instead educate the investors who have interest and capital, but maybe are a bit afraid or hesitant or haven't started and aren't sure where to begin. So as you mentioned, Charlie, the program will take place over 2 months. It's 6 sessions, culminating in a live pitch event where local entrepreneurs will actually be in person pitching their business opportunities. And the hope is that actually leads to some investments. And then from there, that the group can continue to put together deal flow and opportunities and foster sort of the budding ecosystem.
Now, is this similar to, I guess, what a venture capitalist would do? And if not, how is it different?
Yeah, I think venture capital is sort of the most hyped up component of the private market. In this case, we might go one level earlier and call it angel investment or even pre-seed or seed stage investment. I think the investment opportunities would either precede, no pun intended, the venture capital participation, or in some cases co-invest. So you could imagine, a venture capital fund putting some capital to work and angel investors supporting at the same stage.
So this way, that but the entrepreneur who may have an idea, but lacking one, the requisite capital, but two, maybe the hand holding, if I may use that term, to navigate some of the paths.
That's right. I think from the entrepreneurial perspective, it's very hard to raise money in general. It's hard to run a business. So this will put them first and foremost in front of, real investors. But again, the program is focused more on the investor side. So actually educating, the capital sources who are successful individuals or groups who have made money, doing a number of other things, maybe their own businesses, investments in other asset classes, and perhaps they're interested in supporting entrepreneurship. But again, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to structure the deals. They don't know how to find them. And it's a bit overwhelming.
Right. And it's over 6 weeks you reference, right? So what are some of the, I guess every week, one of a better term, what are the classes? What are sort of the things we're hoping to impart, the learning outcomes and the like?
Yeah, sure. I'll run you through it. So the idea is that they'll take place Wednesday evenings. It's going to be a bit of a hybrid between in-person and virtual. Of course, my participation will be virtual, although I do hope to make a trip down there at some point. The first general session will be high-level overview, intro, get to know the participants, see what their level of familiarity with the asset class is, introduce the different flavors of deals, show examples, sort of the bird's eye view. The second, we'll really start rolling up our sleeves, and we focus on what we're calling sourcing and structuring. So this is sourcing, meaning finding opportunities, joining angel groups being one of those ways to, invest alongside like-minded individuals and find interesting entrepreneurs and businesses. And structuring means how to actually put the deal together. So there are some different equity versus debt, instrument types, vehicles, etc. And I think that can get a little bit complicated for a rookie, let's say, or a first-timer. So we'll touch on that a bit. The third section, even more in the weeds, and this is focused on due diligence. So this is analyzing the various components of business opportunities and investment opportunities to determine their viability and their potential to be successful. That includes things like the team and their background, the market size and the competitive landscape, the business model, if there are technology components, if there are social impact components, perhaps, so on and so forth, to assess the likelihood of the business and the investment, being a success. Of course, it's early stage, and there's a lot of things that we don't know. And in fact, we don't know almost everything, but it's good to have a formal framework to put together the same way you would analyze any other investment, whether that's real estate or the stock market or what have you. From there, the next session, so now I'm on the fourth session, will be legal and fiscal. So we'll be finding some local partners to speak and join us for this session and discuss really, why it's opportune to invest in the Caymans. I think there's a well-known landscape that's favorable for business and for investors. So I think we'll discuss some of the implications there and understanding how to navigate, legal aspects and of course, tax components. The following session is portfolio monitoring and investment life cycle. So I think one thing about private markets and early stage investments in particular that's true is the investor needs to be extremely patient. So these things don't happen overnight. It's not what we would consider a liquid investment, meaning you can't just, cash out at any given time. And so we'll discuss what to expect there, how to monitor the opportunity through what could really be, several years, depending on the nature of the deal, and some tips and tricks and tools and even technology to assist in that process. Then, as Charlie mentioned, we'll have the in-person pitch night event, which is pretty exciting. So hopefully by this point, after a month and a half or so, the investors are kind of ready to, see and assess real opportunities. And the following week, we'll do a post-pitch night debrief. And so we'll get the group together again to discuss those opportunities, what they liked, what they didn't like, assess risks. And the idea is hopefully that this can really be something that results in some investment activity.
And with that in mind, are there particular types of business investments or even sectors that may not necessarily qualify for this? Or is it open? You have an idea, you want to do a particular thing, this might be for you.
We'll see where it goes. from my perspective, and I think Charlie probably shared the sentiment, is we're pretty open-minded at the beginning here. We want to see what the investors, are interested in and looking for. I think everybody brings their own desired sort of outcome and what they're looking for from an investment perspective, but also their interest areas and perhaps their experience and their expertise. So a lot of these individuals will be successful professionals that had a career and know and could be helpful to the companies. And so let's see what they are looking for, and also let's see the types of entrepreneurs that are looking to apply. But at the moment, I think very open-minded toward seeing what's out there.
Indeed. With that in mind, Charlie, I mean, as Cory shared, what are you looking for in those potential entrepreneurs, those participants?
Well, one of the biggest things is going to be scalability. So people, or projects that have a, kind of a global outlook for investors. That is very, very important. Local opportunities that are kind of limited to, the local market is. There may be and there likely will be some interest there, but the thing that people who are investing in, or startup companies, early stage companies, what they're looking for is something that is very scalable. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be a very, very important element of what people are looking for. And another very important, and I've only gathered this through observing. So another very, very important thing that prospective investors are looking for is they need to have faith in the team that is behind the project. Mm-hmm. They need to know that they need to trust them. They need to know that they're committed to doing the very hard work that is involved in launching a new business, and that that in some cases that they're also coachable. Mm-hmm. That they will take advice when maybe they're not exactly on the right path. That they're able to iterate and on the fly and make adjustments. And I think from my observation of what past experience of angel investor pitch night last year and other things, those seem to be the kind of the three mainstreams that are common to the prospective investors.
Cory, picked up on what Charlie just shared then, that entrepreneur who's not only looking for pre-seed and seed money, but needs to come with a certain level of panache, certain level of confidence, but also a drive. Can we nurture that, or is that something that's innate?
That's a bit philosophical for an investment analyst discussion, but I think generally perhaps it's a bit of both. I do wholeheartedly agree. We've been helping manage private investments for a long time, and we've also, as a result, gotten to know a lot of different both entrepreneurs and investors, and mm-hmm. the team, time and time again, becomes the absolute most important component, mm-hmm. and particularly when you're talking about early-stage ventures, there has to be an almost insane level of kind of blind commitment to the cause. So if the entrepreneur is not bought in or first personally feeling the pain points and really enjoying, kind of the trials and tribulations of the business, it's when the going gets tough, which it most certainly does, as evidenced in today's market and economy, I think a lot of these businesses, are not going to last. So probably it's innate, although I think as you go and as maybe you have some wins and it's a bit self-rewarding, I think that that skill set or that sort of personality trait can be reinforced and strengthened over time. And of course, having good people in your network and in your community. So for example, if these entrepreneurs join in pitch evenings, and there's some continued networking with the broader, investment angel group here that's forming, I think that can be a lot of positive encouragement. And maybe when there's some self-doubt and things, they'll sort of double down and continue to focus on achieving their vision.
I guess this is where you're saying you happen to, handhold, guide them through, from the legal to the technical, but also understanding that there has to be a lot of staying power behind the idea. It just can't be something that you're thinking of, and then when it gets a little bit difficult, you try something else. How do you help that person, beyond all that, maybe thus far from the incubation period to now getting it to market, as it were, scalable, as Charlie shared?
Yeah. Again, from the entrepreneurial perspective, they need money. They need some guidance. Sometimes they get the wrong guidance and the wrong sort of advice, so they have to sort of trust themselves as well. I think it's equally as important that the investors manage their expectations and that they invest for the right reasons. Again, I would say, the biggest mistake that investors make in this asset class, especially in the early days, is patience, not having patience, rather. And so I think they need to really come to the table prepared and expecting, a lot of uncertainty, and that things are going to take time, and that, there are humans at the helm of whatever they're investing in here, and ultimately, seeing those people succeed to achieve what their goals are is extremely important. So, a lot of just kind of positive encouragement, and sometimes maybe blind optimism is required, and certainly, capital and resources are important. The other thing that I think is fantastic about the investment angel group that's building here is, again, the network and the experience of the individuals. So certainly while the check and the capital is nice, the idea that they could give them real-world industry knowledge, perspective, and hopefully contacts to open up, commercially viable potential relationships is hugely impactful. From a scalability perspective, you can imagine a scrappy small entrepreneur knocking on doors and selling one deal at a time, or you can imagine one of their angel investors opening a lead with a corporate player that could maybe give them, a network of opportunities to monetize. So that type of non-capital impact is huge for the early entrepreneurs that maybe don't have their own deep networks.
Indeed. And Charlie, this is where I think many don't appreciate what through CEC, these opportunities, what it could mean for that sort of onshore base, entrepreneur. You're knocking on multiple doors simultaneously because you have a deeper bench, as Cory shared.
Yeah, I mean the exposure to when the projects go through the incubator, they meet people that that you're not going to meet, kind of doing it from your kitchen table. So you meet people that will hopefully take an interest in you and your project and how they can help and leverage the connections that they've developed over many years, in addition to their expertise, and open doors that might otherwise someone might otherwise not be able to figure out how to open.
Yeah. Now, for those who are listening, if they want more information, they want to see if this is for them, well, what's the best way to go about it? Because it's going to start in short order, right?
Yep. So the best place to go is to our Enterprise Cayman website, and that is www.enterprisecayman.ky. There'll be additional details on the site, including dates and so on. One thing I should note here is that there is a fee for the course. It is CI $99, and we try to keep it as nominal as possible, and we consider that for the quality of the program and for the potential for what it will deliver, we feel that is we feel that that's definitely an appropriate set at the appropriate level. But please visit www.enterprisecayman.ky for details, and we'd love for you to enroll.
All right. Well, you know what? Sometimes we need to show our commitment, and sometimes a few bucks, can just be indicative. All right. Before we ask you for final thoughts, Cory, any closing words you may want to share with our listeners?
Look, I think for anyone who's interested in the asset class as investors for private investments, whatever reason that might be, whether it's investment return focused or something bigger, we think it's a great program to get started, and certainly what Charlie and the Cayman Enterprise City Group are putting together is very exciting. Whether or not you choose to participate in the course, I think check it out, and hopefully will join us in the angel investment activity that we're trying to propel here. But thanks to you both for the time.
Thank you too for taking time out and sharing with us, man. Hopefully when you visit, we get to have you in the studio, man. All the best to you.
Right. Yes, sir. Likewise. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, man. Well, Charlie, this is where I think as we look at not just the Cayman economy, but what CEC in particular bringing to the table. It's not the added revenue to the government coffers. It's not just the employment prospects. It's the networking, the leveraging of our economy, the positioning. That we have. It's a fantastic space.
Yeah, and the building out of an ecosystem beyond just attracting businesses to come to Cayman and leasing them office space. We are the building out of a genuine ecosystem, and in this case, we're talking about the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We have a number of components to our Enterprise Cayman not-for-profit initiative. But today we're talking about the entrepreneurial ecosystem that we are very heavily invested in through we have an Ideate program that's around idea validation. That's our business design competition. The incubator, as we talked about earlier, and now the opportunity for those projects to be exposed to pre-seed and pre-seed prospective investors. And the idea there is that it completes an ecosystem that is only partly there if you're just bringing people to bringing people and kind of bringing people to the island for the purposes of knowledge transfer and foreign direct investment. We need to also take advantage of the fact that we have a very, very deep roster of expertise and kind of interest in being involved in the establishment and growth of a globally significant knowledge and technology focused ecosystem. And we would be it would be very, very, very poor on our side if we didn't take advantage of that.
And you bring much to the table. It then provides not just value added, and as you share the knowledge transfer, but Cayman sometimes we don't who are here don't see its true value and potential. It takes sometimes those who have been more knowledgeable and experienced, introduced to the things from other economies. But it's right before us. I really commend. I think as Cory was sharing, it's a particular drive that someone's have. You have it. You see something that you want to achieve. Hopefully it'll come to fruition in your lifetime, but it'll be a legacy that will span generations. So keep pressing on. The reward is there.
Absolutely, and again, this part of our project, the Enterprise Cayman the not-for-profit part of our project is designed to do exactly that, is to create opportunities for local projects to possibly even look beyond the boundaries of the Cayman Islands and to look regionally and look globally. A good idea in the Cayman Islands is very probably a good idea outside of the Cayman Islands as well. And so providing opportunities for projects that can prove that they have value and that they have legs, providing opportunities for them to expand beyond our shores is we view that as a tremendous opportunity.
It bodes well both for CUC, but I think beyond that, for me, it bodes well for our economy. So thanks very much, man. Looking forward to having you back in when your schedule allows it again.
All right. Well, thanks for having us on again.
All right. Well, listen, if you want, enterprisecayman.ky, get more information and see where this may take you. Who knows? That next great idea could just be sitting at your kitchen table, just waiting to be scalable and shared with the globe. All right. When we come back, open line, Miss Susan. We're going to sing some poetry. Some songs. Join us after the break.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Dear students, you deserve to learn in a safe and welcoming environment where you can realize your full potential.
Bullying robs you of that opportunity. So my staff and I are committed to reducing bullying in our schools.
We have put measures in place to protect and support you.
So please don't keep us in the dark. Let us know if you are being bullied.
Together,
we will rip bullying apart.
Today through the 14th of October, celebrate the launch of the new Hurley's Max loyalty program. Save more with Hurley's Max. Join the club. Save a lot with 3 million Hurley's Max points. Available for shoppers. 200 spot prices from Tortuga. Kid competitions and 5 exclusive member contests on the app. Along with over 650 products are on promotion. Celebrate the launch of Max. Today through October 14th. At Hurley's.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Attention Cayman Brac residents. Your voices have been heard. We are thrilled to announce that Cayman National will be installing a new ATM in the Kirkconnell store in Stake Bay on September 1st. At Cayman National, our priority is to make banking easy and convenient.
Introducing Digicel's all-new prepaid plans. Packed with more any-use data than ever before. Entertainment data for the apps you love, like Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Plus, endless social data for Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you're always in the know. Stay connected. Stay entertained with Digicel's new prepaid plans. Activate in the My Digicel app today. Digicel. Better connected.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. It's going to be some open line 949-8037, 949-6990. What other numbers should we give them, Ms. Susan? Should we give them the private line? All right, try give us a shout on the WhatsApp, see if it works. 925-32621, as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. For some reason, even though we're getting into the month of October, and before we know it, this year will draw to a close. Still feels like summer in some sense. I don't know if it's the heat. I don't know if it's the fact that we didn't get to do any fishing over the summer. Maybe some of us didn't get to frolic as much as we normally would, But it still feels like that, lazy, hazy days as some of that song would sing. So what's on your mind? 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp 925-32621. And as the Honorable Education Minister and Deputy Premier sent out her message for teachers as we celebrate teachers today, recognizing that they are very instrumental, very instructive in the lives of us, even as parents, not only because we were once, in schools as well, but even now as we, look at our students, our children, and the expectations that we have for them. But with that in mind, what is that like? Are we concerned about the quality of life that they'll have, their employment prospects. What about their abilities to own their own properties? Will there even be properties available to purchase, much less if they can afford it? And then the safety and security and stability that we enjoy. The Honorable Premier, in his message just earlier, shared that maybe we need to take a much tougher approach to crime. Most unfortunate incident occurred again in our society, and we're asking ourselves, is this what Cayman is becoming? Is this the Cayman that we're going to accept? If we're going to be pointing fingers, and are we not only pointing them in the right direction, are we demanding that something is done? And if that thing that which is to be done, well, is it the right thing? Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, brother, what's happening?
Good to hear from you. How are you?
Good, man. I good, giving God thanks for another day, you know.
He's a gracious God indeed, yes.
Yes, man. He is every time.
Wow,
yeah. I listened to you there. I was thinking about how when they is excited days where they get on the radio and so bold, get there smiling and talking about Teachers Day and this one day, but yet Caymanians crying for Seaman's Day. And of all the days that they don't give God almighty praise, the 365 days a year, you know, hear them say today is a God's day. But they have all these days that they can worship and praise man. But yet they stand up and say they're going on that narrow road, but sad will be our reward. But anyway, Sterling, I was just thinking when you're talking about the days, about the Teachers' Day, even in the States, they got what they call a Children Walk to School Day. Boy, I can tell you, boy, we really in a world, of hurt. I can tell you about it. That a child walk to school day. Now, who in their right mind would put their child on the road to walk to school anymore? and this still promoting these things, Sterling. Boy, I tell you, really and truly, I don't know if you watch the news as often as I do, but sometimes I have to wonder and shake my head. What else are they going to come up with?
You know, it's interesting as I listen to you, but you raise a number of points and maybe even questions for some of our minds. But talk, man. Let's hear about your perspective.
Yeah, because I hear many times the cry on the radio for the seamen. My father was a seaman.
Mm-hmm.
Miss him dearly, man. Tear come from my eyes, you know, because of his love of how he treated me, raised me. He raised me as a young boy. He didn't raise me as a boy. He raised me as a man. And one of the things he always used to tell me every time I go under the mulberry tree, when he's sitting down, he said, boy, when you become a man, put away boy things. And I didn't wait till I became a man to put away boy things. I became a man at an early stage. Probably one of the ones on the spot, but I became a young man at his age and got everything, a family at a young age, nice job at a young age, a nice home at a young age. These things my father instilled in me. And, you know, when we overlook our forefathers that left this country, this world, and we don't honor them, we have to beg to honor our forefathers and our fathers that was of this world. I mean, we really stepping down in a sad occasion. I even were looking after the news there with the two young ladies on the news, some news setting they had on the talk show there, or this morning or yesterday, whenever it was, about the recognition of recognizing our heroes. Man, one thing been bothering me for a while is how they neglect Cayman Brac seamen as national heroes, the ones that have engraved in this country. Sterling, right now, one of the persons of these islands that they should be remembering is Captain Keith Tibbetts, and I ponder on his name over and over and over. He was the one that kept the Cayman Islands where they are today. And you don't even hear his name mentioned because of certain individuals that doesn't like the family. You see where it boils down to? So everything that we sit and listen to, and we see them get all excited about Teachers Day and one of the days now I can expect them to have respect for is Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Now I go 100% for that in a sickness and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come away from the things that they should be cherishing, not worshiping, cherishing in our country, they comes away from that and serve things that doesn't have Caymanians implemented into that basket of these gifts that they're handing out to the world. And it hurts me because as a young individual, knowing where I come from, seeing the background of how our father was, that they would go all the way down almost to Nicaragua, to them keys all the way down, they get turtle in return. These things our forefathers brought back here to us. They scaled aside the bluff here in the Brock to get booba eggs. Trained me as a young boy, probably one of the only ones that did it. Scale the bluff to get booba eggs to go home and eat. These things we come away from. We worship all these other days. We give everybody their credit, and we can't give our seamen and our representatives that represented us so strongly.
Mm-hmm.
Their credit was due.
You know, and I know a few times in the past you did reference, you know, and you shared that it's something that you want to speak to more, and I'm glad that you did. But in listening to you, maybe two things, and I'll share one right after as a relation of a conversation I had earlier. But the leadership that you reference and the lack of seemingly appreciation and reverence, that respect that we have for our own people, you know, is it then that we are quick to displace and somehow discard not just the contributions of Caymanians, but the fact that there's something special, unique, something very purposeful about Cayman and Caymanians? If that's happening, what do we do? I mean, why is it that we are so quick to just discard our own people?
The whole thing about it is, Sterling, they want the fortune, or not a fortune, they want a theme that comes with boasting about the things that they help develop in this country, such as medical, education, whatever. Mm-hmm. They want to brag on these things that doesn't benefit the Caymanian people. These things get them just big, high recognition in life. But when it comes to having a sector put aside for the Caymanian, they don't want to boast and brag on that. They got to be quick to ridicule the Cayman people, but they're not going to uphold the Cayman people in no way. That's why they don't want to form these organizations, you know, that has to do with Caymanians. It's so, like I told you yesterday with Miss Anna Rose, it's so good to know that, that these things she can back. When you listen to those over in Grand Cayman, back in trying to form things that was of Cayman back into the system. All these things should have been implemented into the government sector to make sure that we keep these things and not just sit down there boasting and bragging about how much people we bring in this country, how much salary we paying these people, and then at the end of the day, they don't even stop and listen to themselves and say, oh my God, I forgot the Caymanians. This is what it's all about in Australia. Once we have become, I tell my wife and I tell the people in church all the time, the thing what happened with Caymanians, some Caymanians, the bossa ones, we have become like Pharisees. We like to be seen and we like to be heard. If we take our time and go to one side and sit down and ponder to ourselves and say, should I boast about this? What are the people of Cayman that say? Should I even mention anything of such? No. They don't worry about that. They're worrying about that person seeing them the next morning and handshaking them. They want praise on earth. You know, that's all they want. That's all they live for. And that is what is destroying our country. We put a plaque on a wall for our heroes when they dead and gone. How they know that there? They don't know. Why is it that they don't put something, name a building after an individual before they dead and gone? Look at district admin here on the block. They got name that road down there after that governor. Somebody that means nothing to our country after him. But you have Captain Mabry, you have Captain Charles, you have Captain Eldon, you have Captain Junior, all of those brothers that did for that. That area was built by the Kirkconnells. That was actually Kirkconnell's property, and they got take it, they sold it to the government. They got take that and name it after someone that doesn't even matter to this country. Sterling, can you understand and realize where I'm coming from? I really and truly sometimes it grips my teeth to know and put me on the edge when I got sit down and watch them on TV, boast and brag about what they're doing. And when they turn around, you hear them say, oh, they can't help that one out there on the street. They can't help. Excuse me? Why are they there boasting and bragging about the foreign ones they can help and not boasting about the Caymanians that need the help? That need the help, Sterling.
My friend, I think you certainly always put some, excellent questions on the table. Maybe with that, let's pick it up another time, all right? Let's pause and take this break. When we come back, more talk today.
Upgrade your connection with Digicel's all-new postpaid plans. Experience the freedom of endless local calls, more any-use data to browse, entertainment data for Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok, and endless social data for WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's not all. Stay connected when you travel with roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean, and make calls while abroad with more international minutes than ever before. Stay connected on the fastest, most reliable network. Make the switch today. Digicel, better connected.
Are you looking for a rewarding way to make a difference in your community while gaining skills in strategy and leadership? The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan is seeking volunteers to join their Board of Trustees. Representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands' economy, volunteer trustees are vital to providing quality pension services and play an important role in protecting member benefits. If you would like to become a volunteer trustee or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky, email admin@pensions.ky, or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britk. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from October 2nd through the 7th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Attention Cayman Brac residents. Your voices have been heard. We are thrilled to announce that Cayman National will be installing a new ATM in the Kirkconnell store in Stake Bay on September 1st. At Cayman National, our priority is to make banking easy and convenient.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sharing with us. Some open line here on, can you believe it? It's Thursday already. I know it's the October month, but Maybe you need to call and remind me which day it is in this 10th month. Already. 949-8037, 949-6990, or try WhatsApp in 925-32621. One of our listeners shares this in relation to the carbon footprint. It says all the money Cayman is wasting trying to reduce our carbon footprint. We have a WhatsApp call with Susan. Let's see if we can take that. Let me read this. So all the money Cayman is wasting trying to reduce their carbon footprint. They should take that money and put it into reducing Cayman's healthcare prices for those that don't have health insurance. Well, try this call. Let's see if it works. We will try to see if the WhatsApp call works. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Very good.
All right. Thank you for trying. We can hear you, and thank you so much.
Good. I have to agree with the last caller. The caller was just on. And something popped into my mind while he was speaking. I remember when I was in school, and it was around Pirates Week time. They brought in the pirates into school. I wasn't a fan of that. Are you hearing me?
Yes. So you weren't a fan of it, right? Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't like that aspect. I always wonder what part Caymanians actually played in piracy. I couldn't understand piracy at all growing up, and I feel so disgusted now that I even took part in the school allowed us to take part in the parade, and I agreed to it. I think that we need to do Wear Pirates Week and change that to Seafarers celebration or whatever you want. Something to highlight the seamen. I think that's where it needs to go. The Pirates Week thing. It's not. I'm picturing in my mind, right? Imagine if America celebrated terrorism week with planes flying into the building and all that. That wouldn't look good, would it?
Yeah. Were there any aspects of the Pirates Week celebrations that you liked?
Yes, I like the food part. I like the street dance was good. And the parade itself, the cultural part of the parade was nice. I like that.
Okay.
But actually, I didn't like the howling and the growling of the pirates and the cannons going off. I didn't like that at all. I've been listening to your what do you call it, your historical vignettes, and they're very nice, and the beautiful pictures pop into your mind when you listen to them, and not one of them mentioned anything about Caymanian men going off and attacking places and bringing the booty back home. Not one. We played no part in piracy. First of all, piracy, I researched piracy, and it had nothing. It wasn't unique to any country. It was like a worldwide thing at the time. And I don't see why Cayman Islands has to celebrate it as part of their heritage. It's nobody's heritage, actually. It came all the way from Saudi Arabia, and then the British picked it up. As far as when I researched it, so it shouldn't be celebrated. It's just wrong.
Yeah. One of our listeners, shared us with, says, one of our listeners, don't we celebrate Christopher Columbus Day? He was a murderous pirate.
Pardon me?
One of our listeners writes this, says, don't we celebrate Christopher Columbus Day? He was a murderous pirate.
Do we celebrate Christopher Columbus and he was a murderous pirate? Well,
this is...
Stop it. We can stop things, I believe we can stop things.
Okay.
If you find out that we've been doing something wrong all along, I believe we can stop it and say, hey, this is wrong. We should no longer do this.
Is it then that we, and as I, listen to what you were sharing about, certain aspects of the celebration, the food, the culture, and the like, maybe it's time that we rethink, but also don't, reinterpret, but ensure that what we're presenting is more, historically accurate. We have the news, and a caller. I don't want to dismiss you. Anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, but I'll probably do it another time.
Okay. All right, man. I thank you very much. This is where we sometimes got to part ways to make way for what has been already prepared. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman, the voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins. The flu vaccine will be available at the Public Health Clinic at Aston Ruddy Medical Wing in Cayman Brac from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday, beginning Tuesday, October 10th. In international news, the tallest mountain in France has shrunk over the last 2 years, according to researchers. Mont Blanc's peak has been measured at 15,766 feet and 4 inches, which is 2.22 meters shorter than in 2021. Chief Geometer Jean Degaretz said the shrinking could have been caused by less rain this summer. The mountain in southeast France is measured every 2 years to try and track the impact of climate change on the Alps. The world's September temperatures were the warmest on record, breaking the previous high by a huge margin, according to the EU Climate Service. Last month was 0.93 Celsius warmer than the average September temperature between 1991 to 2020 and 0.5 Celsius hotter than the previous record set in 2020. Ongoing emissions of warming gases, in addition to the El Niño weather event, are driving the heat, experts believe. Some scientists said they were shocked by the scale of the increase. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
For the record.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you.
For the record.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM for Cayman's Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our callers for listening and for sharing as you go to the phones. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey, my friend. What's happening, man?
Not too bad, man. Just giving thanks as usual.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you could have heard.
No,
me.
yes. No, I can, man. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was listening to your show yesterday and a little bit earlier, and I think that there's a lot of different topics in which is swirling around people's minds. Obviously, Cayman is a small jurisdiction. Geographically, we're small from a size standpoint, but some people argue we're 75 square miles. Some scientists say we're 87 square miles. Whichever it is, we're under 100 square miles. I think we can determine that. And which makes us a very small community, which means that, just about everything that is a topical issue, most of us hear about it or formulates an opinion based on what we heard or what someone else said. But we keep hearing a lot of references when it comes to climate change, global warming, greenhouse gases, CO2s, carbon dioxide, and all these different things. But if we look at it from a logical standpoint, from where we stand in history, in regards to the development of science and progress of information and research, right? Now, the same technology and modern methodologies that we use to determine that we have increased CO2s or increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, we've also used that same technology to determine what the temperatures were a couple 100,000 years ago, in some cases it goes back as far as 1.5 million years, depending on the carbon dating of the core samples that they test, right? And I happen to know, I mean, when I say that, I mean I happen to research a couple of the scientists that do core samples in the pole, at the North Pole and the South Pole and different areas around the world that has pristine environments that is untouched predominantly by mankind, right? So they do core samples in those areas, and they go down very deep and they test to see at what at each period of those core samples they can determine pretty good on what age or how long ago it was. But anyway, there is a few core samples that have been tested as of recent that show that the scientific data shows that it was hotter 850,000 years ago than it is now, right? Which is a very startling point, because who were causing the planet to warm up back then? Because one would argue, based on the science and the history that we know, that the Earth didn't have 8 billion people back in 100,000 years ago, much less 800,000 years ago. So all I'm saying is that we are hotter now than we were before, since we started recording the temperatures of 200,000 years ago. 200 years ago, or less than. But the reality is, I believe, is that, the Mother Nature's cycle has this ability to do what it wants. Mankind doesn't have any contributing factors to that, other than the fact that we do know that carbon that is produced by combustion engine is a substance that goes into the air. Those are facts. No one is arguing those facts. I just think that the Cayman Islands and the size that it is, in which I highlighted in the beginning of the conversation, doesn't have any impacts on CO2, carbon dioxide, or greenhouse gases, much less climate change. So to the callers and the people that spoke earlier, in regards to that, we should prioritize and focus on the things that are obviously affecting us right now, like the cost of living and all the other things that we can talk about. But I just found it a bit concerning that we're focusing only on that in certain regards, especially where we allocating resources in order to deal with it, knowing that we can't affect it. And last thing I wanted to just mention right quick, and I think that it's been on the minds of a lot of people who have been paying attention, or who take the time to look on social media and the news broadcasts and whatnot. Yesterday, you guys were on and you were talking about the gentleman who left a TikTok video criticizing Cayman's experience and all this other thing, right? I'd just like to say this. I was going to call him yesterday, but I ran out of time and I couldn't before you guys were done. But let's just look at the facts as they sit, right? Here's a gentleman that claimed that he'd been to multiple Caribbean islands, right? And that the Cayman Islands was the worst experience he had, right? But he stopped short of sharing an authentic experience he had with any other island that he claimed he went to. He was too much on cue with the chronological set out of things in which he mentioned, in regards to the population being more than the locals. The locals were nowhere to be found because they must have been trying to survive. And all the things he said, it almost, to me, sounded scripted. It didn't come across as a genuine observation of our tourism product. He could have simply said, or he could have said genuinely, hey, been to the Cayman Islands, didn't see much of the Caymanian people. I did enjoy a little bit of food. I did see some pretty beaches, whatever the case is. Place look a little commercialized with all the big buildings. However, and I hope I think if you're given a realistic view, because all of what he said, everybody in Cayman already know. So I don't understand why anybody was surprised or they shared the video as if, oh my gosh, he said it, so now it's true. We know that there is an unbalanced tipping scale when it comes to the Caymanians' participation in any industry in Cayman. And we all know that there's no Cayman kind without a Cayman brand. And we all know that there's no authentic experience for Cayman. There's no real offering of that. So I'm not sure what the minister was referring to when he extended for the gentleman to come back, all expense paid, to come back to Cayman to eat a plate of oxtail. I wasn't sure where he was going with that, right? But at the end of the day, when he was then subsequently went on another on another platform and was grilled and lambasted by that entity, he then immediately had another video, and then he had another video, and he wanted to have a town hall meeting. The guy was too scripted, in my personal opinion. I believe he was paid to say what he said in the beginning, and then he didn't realize he would get the response it got, and then he was caught in this whirlwind. So I just think that we need to not buy into that, because I think most Caymanians who are paying attention knows absolutely what their fundamental issues are, and we know that there's little being done to address those issues. So pointing fingers and laying blame is one thing we can do, but what is it that we're doing personally as a collective unit of Caymanians who are genuinely concerned about the things in which he highlighted that we already know? So I mean, seriously, one of the callers yesterday suggested that if he wanted a Caymanian experience, he should have driven to the Eastern Districts to see what? And do what in the Eastern Districts? There's no offering of anything authentic Cayman. There's nothing here. We are lost in translation of our tourism product. And I think that someone paid him to say what he said in order to make our Minister of Tourism look the way he looked bad or whatever, or make the island look bad, whatever the case was. I just know for sure that guy didn't say that because that was his genuine experience, because we never heard about any other experience he had other than Cayman. He claimed to have been to many other places, but yet we didn't hear nothing about the comparison of the experience he had, let's say, in Jamaica or Barbados or Bermuda or Bahamas. So,
what do you make of the tourism minister and the government's sort of offer? You know, the fella gets up, makes a wagon eyes, and then, you know, we respond, "Oh, come, you know."
Well, here's my honest opinion on that. We got a woman, a single mother with 4 children, bathing her children in the public bathroom, but yet our minister see the need to hop, skip, and jump to the aid of somebody who had a realistic opinion of what we experience in the Cayman Islands. I think that their priorities are misguided. I think that the minister should have said, I would pay with my personal money, because if you suggested paying with the public purse, I don't agree. There are a lot of other domestic things that we need to address, and I'm really disappointed that the efforts of the minister would have been directed solely at trying to suffice the one person who made an observation of something that we've known for decades. But again, that's just my opinion, and I believe that we can better prioritize the things that are needed in our island, as opposed to be cherry picking the things that we feel make us look good because of the position that we hold. So at the end of the day, we suffer as a country on a whole, because we don't have individuals who are looking at the picture entirely and addressing the issues, you know, seriously, as opposed to looking political mileage or looking to save face or any of the above. You know, at the end of the day, here we are in the Cayman Islands with a broken system, and nobody actively or realistically working on anything to fix the problem. We got the premier looking to fix climate change that we can't fix, right? We have a minister that's now appointed to Labour who violated the pension. I mean, I'm not going off on anything. I'm just saying the facts that are there. These are all public knowledge. But, you know, how are we? And then we got McKeever in Ghana representing the island with pending convictions. I mean, pending criminal charges. What are we running, a banana republic? So anyway, I think I said enough for people to think about, and I believe that we need the Caymanian people to collectively work together so that we can hold the individuals that we elect accountable for the things that they do and for the things that they don't do.
Yeah, man.
So,
all right. Hey, thanks. Always appreciate you reminding us what's important, and, you know, we'll see where it takes us. All right, with that, let's just quickly pause. When we come back, we'll join the other callers.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
The Cayman Islands Maritime Heritage Foundation, in cooperation with the Cayman Islands Catboats Club, new 312-page book on the history of turtle schooners and catboats is available at the Thompson Building in Georgetown, and also from Catboat Club members. You can call 926-4676 or 916-7755. This book is a must-read for all Caymanians and residents. Make sure you get your copy today and learn about this fascinating era in Cayman's history.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for sharing. We've got a couple of calls. Let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Oh, very thankful. Excellent.
Good. That's good to know. Okay. Listen, I have 2 points I want to touch on, and I hope that there's enough time. I'm not going to elaborate a whole lot on it, but I just want to start with one of your previous callers, the young man, I think it's a young man, who spoke about Pirates Week. And I certainly want to endorse what he said. I agree with him 100%. I don't know why, after all this time, and we, the Caymanians, have spoken about the title Pirates Week. It is certainly not our heritage, and if, they think back long enough, we could call it Slave Week, all right? Because that's part of our heritage, but everybody refuses to accept that. And be that as it may, I was going to bring it up anyway, and since you're in the month of October, which is when I think they have this celebration, we can still have a carnival. We just have to choose a name that is fitting to Cayman and is pleasing to the Caymanian people, something that will not offend us, the Caymanians. The other point I wanted to make was regarding William, I think is his name, who came to Cayman and spoke of his experience. Let me just say that William only said out loud what many write about and many say quietly. I am not offended by anything that William said. He spoke about his experience, the same way you or I would speak about our experience to Russia, China, or South Africa. And we can't fault him for that. I think it was a valuable lesson lost on many, and instead of being upset and living in denial about it, it should be addressed and corrected. I'm not blaming that on this government because it has been happening through many different administrations, yet nobody has seen it fit to correct what's gone, and we continue to lose. But it just seems to me that everybody is, a couple of steps behind. One of the things that I know from experience in the work world is that our tourism numbers were linked to our investors because our stay-over tourists were our investors in the private banking sector. That sector has now been closed. That's why the number of tourists has reduced. We're not going to get them back by inviting cruise ships in. They don't stay over. They come ashore. They don't spend any money, bottom line. And if we want to invite stay-over tourists here, we need to really be truthful and look at what it is we are offering compared to the other Caribbean islands. Yeah, we might be of a better economic standard than many of the other Caribbean islands. But you know what they have that we have lost? They still have their identity. They still have their brand. And that's what they market. So when people leave America, Europe, or wherever to come to the Cayman Islands, they're expecting to find an island, not a little Manhattan or a little Singapore. That's what they're running from. They've come here for rest and relaxation. They haven't come here to get in that traffic jungle and so and so. They could have stayed in New York and had that, or LA or wherever. We need to address this. We need to be really, really honest about it and say, what can we do to improve this? You can only market something that you know and that you have. And when you have people on the front line who don't know it, how are you going to market it? And I've been sick and tired of hearing these excuses about needing work permit holders to fill these positions. Dwayne, I'm sure you're old enough to know, and if you're not, your older siblings can tell you. All of these jobs were held by Caymanians. All of them. And I'm especially speaking about the hospitality industry. And that's Cayman time, okay? That's what the people came for back then. And those who returned, you know, they noticed that it was gone. That's why they don't come back. They go to other islands now that remain the same. I say remain the same as in maintaining their identity. I have been to other Caribbean islands, and while they don't have what we have, luxury-wise, they have their identity. And that saddens me because I'm a Caymanian, and I can speak the truth. I'm honest enough and I'm old enough to recognize what has been lost there over the last 40 years. And if nobody is big enough, brave enough, to get up and say, this has to stop, if we intend to survive on tourism as part of our revenue, we need to know how to secure it. It's like anything else. We have to also acknowledge that the private banking sector is gone. You can't rely on that anymore. And you cannot substitute that at the detriment of losing our little island. I imagine you have other callers, and I'll leave it there. Unless you don't have another caller, then, you know.
We do have another one, but always, you know, appreciate you taking time to share. So thanks very much, all right?
Well, I was trying for a long time, but I had to wait, you know. I made a cup of tea, and I did several things by the time it got to me. So I kind of figured it wouldn't be much time left. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I actually wanted to address this Williams statement from yesterday, but I was caught up doing something else. So I'm glad someone else brought it up because it reminded me that I wanted to address it.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those Caymanians. I am not by any means offended with William. Inviting William back here to show him what? Are we going to transform? No, we're not. To invite him back here for a plate of oxtail only, in my opinion, rub salt in the wound. Oxtail is not one of our national dishes. You know, if you say the plate of turkey meat, stewed count, fish stew or something like that, even that. But an invitation back is not the answer to what William spoke about. And William was not wrong about anything that he said. He merely voiced his experience here. No one should be upset with him. It was a valuable lesson that was lost on the majority. Dwayne, have a wonderful
You
afternoon.
too. Thank you too, all right?
Okay.
All right. Appreciate that caller. As we do the next, let's go to the phones. Welcome.
Mr. Sterling, how are you?
Excellent, excellent. How about you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I just wanted, I'm glad that this conversation is continuing because yesterday I wasn't finished and I got very little time left. But I just want to say that Mr. Mario Rankin hit it on the nail. And everything that Mario say, it is true. And in me personally, that man did not come to the Cayman Islands because he can't tell you anything about Cayman that he has experienced while he was here. But he could tell you what Cayman don't have from what it have. And we all know that Cayman is an investor island, has become investor. That gentleman, we don't have no proof in E. William, and we have no proof that that's his real face. I am not here degrading him or low rating him, but that man couldn't tell you anything about Cayman, no more than what he said. He couldn't go off of that script that he was on, and he was set up to do what he did. And believe me, it's not finished. And I just saw a young lady is from the Cayman Islands who is in Canada, gone now, and made a TikTok over this young man and carrying on the worst of the worst. But that's their business. They do what they want to do. But Cayman is gone to a degree, but we got to still be thankful that we got what we got. And one man out of 1 million, that don't mean nothing to the Cayman Islands because he didn't take nothing off our shoulders over here. We know that we got tons of investors over here. We know we don't have this, and we know we don't have that. I don't know when he bought his ticket, where he think he was going. That's what I want to know. And I would say again, he didn't come to the Cayman Islands because he cannot tell us nothing about the Cayman Islands. He didn't have one drop of experience that he could even tell us that he had on this island. And Sterling, if the people of these islands didn't sell their property, these investors couldn't come here and build it up. Those people who sold their property, they gave their children money out of it. Some they got a home, some they got a husband, some they got a wife, some they got a car. We cannot be blamed for what the property owners did with their property. I blame planning and government to say we got to build only certain height buildings on this island, and this is what it has to have to say to be part of the Cayman Islands. You understand? Yeah, like the college just said, you know, we're not here and there, not other part of the world. We are the Cayman Islands. We have came a long way, but we came a long way in the wrong way. We came in the wrong way. So when it was getting so good, all the governments, every last one of them, saw it blooming and glooming. Oh, boy, we need this, we need that. We're going to get more visitors coming to our island. No, not really. And then they got this thing about, we want to attract high-end visitors. Well, I know one thing. He wasn't a high-end visitor to my island. And getting back to Mr. Kenneth, he saw 3 young ladies on the 7 Mile Road some weeks ago trying to get across the street, and the person didn't let them cross. You know what he do? He goes to the hotel and apologize and have them to have something on them. And it was breakfast, lunch, dinner, drink, or whatever the case may be. Listen to me, Mr. Kenneth. I don't hate you. I love you. I love your mother. But leave these people alone because they're going to say what they want to say when they're going to say it. You cannot please everybody. We are not here to please anybody in them kind of departments. We are here to run an island because if we got to go around and try to please everyone that come on that airport or that cruise ship, there'll be no real Cayman then. There will really be no Cayman. So we just need to tell ourselves, you know what? This man is not real for the Cayman. He did not come to the Cayman and I put my ear on a chopping block. So all of those who sold their property to these investors and your children didn't build anything with the money you gave them, that is not the investors' problem. I blame planning and I blame government for approving these high-end buildings and not making sure that certain Cayman stuff was in steel and everything that they did on this island. Look at the old High Regency. We asked the governments to buy that hotel so we have our own first hotel for this island. Oh, they bribed them, we got our own national airlines. Why we can't have a hotel too? And I can tell you right now, government don't really like a lot of responsibility. That's what I have come to the conclusion. We got a lot of crown land on this island, and it's not even being used correctly. People use it for garbage dump. We got people who are homeless, who need food, we need good, a better school system in what we got, and making sure that our kids are learning. The things that we need for this island, we can't get it, but whoever comes in here can get what they want. That needs to be solved. I'm against that 100%. But as long as the world is the way it is, Cayman going to chase it. Cayman going to chase it because Cayman thing by chasing the rest of the world, we're going to be a better island. No, we are destroying our island. We are destroying the few little Caymanians we got left, and they're crying that there's no future for them. We go to the grocery store, we cry. We go home, we cry. And we saw, if we see one of our neighbors, turn up the face at each other and don't speak to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We are living like cats and animals on this island. That guy had some stuff in his words about the Cayman. Some of them was true, but the man did not come to the Cayman Island. When he can show me he was in Cayman with an airline ticket or whatever airline he came in, what hotel he was in, and then I say he was in the Cayman Island. He was not here. I die with that belief.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, thanks very much, Mom, for sharing that, and to all of our listeners for taking time to listen and to call. For those who can find their way into the phone numbers, man, we'll get it working that soon. All right. Join me start tomorrow for the record, and then come back for Talk Today right after the midday news. Looking forward to having you as part of our ongoing discussion. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.